With only a few slave farms left and slave mines, we were in a really good situation to finally knock out the United Cities. We are down in Port South now, one of the few remaining slave compounds. Once we take this out, it is going to knock the United Cities even lower down than they are. They are not looking like they are in a good situation at all, which is great for us, which means once we can finally get our numbers together and our guys in a situation where they can, we will attack Heft and Heng and knock out the United Cities once and for all. What we have seen is the rogue samurais running around. They are not as well equipped, they are not as well trained, and they don't have as good weapons as the normal United Cities samurai. So that is a very good sign showing that the United Cities is starting to bend, and we will put the final nail in the coffin and make them break. Was expecting a little bit more from Port South, but this place is falling rapid. Now our guys are super well trained and super well equipped, but I was kind of hoping for a bit more of a fight considering all the build up to it, and it is just falling rapido at the moment. Not a massive issue. We have taken out the hooded samurai noble guards, so that is a good thing. We only have the noble to take down, and then Port South will be out of the game for good, have the knock on to the rest of the world state, and the United Cities will be in a even sorrier state than they are already. So it is now just the mop up exercise of the last of the defenders in Port South, and I think it is safe to say that Port South literally got wiped out and fell in under 2 minutes, which I think is a new record for me. So we've found the noble. Looks like they got pretty much wiped out at the start once they ran out with their hooded samurai guards, so not much of a defense there. That done you a lot of good hiring all those mercenaries. Good job, bro. Yes, so that is Port South done, and with Port South done, we're just going to regroup and we're going to head down to the Southern Stone Camp. Not going to lie, was expecting a lot more from Port South than that. That fell super quick, which is a good thing for us because it means that we're still pretty fresh and we are going to be in a situation to be able to take the fight to the Stone Camp pretty happily. Now, if the Stone Camp falls as quick as Port South did, we are going to be in a really good situation to either attack Heft or Heng, depending on how beaten up we are. A largely uneventful journey down to the Stone Camp South. We did wait until dawn to launch the attack just so we could see a little bit more and have a better understanding of what's going on. I don't think a massive amount's going to be going on because, well, they are only slavers and they are pretty low levels. We've already managed to take out most of the crossbows. It looks like we've already got guys up on the walls. And then we've got people coming around onto the left wall as well to take that out. The tower is gone as well, so their harpoons aren't going to be raining down. Not that they can do a massive amount to the armour that our guys are wearing, but to the likes of Bog, Midnight and Dexter, they are pretty devastating. Talking about Dexter, he seems to have a taste for the Shek at the moment, which is pretty good, because obviously we do not like the Narkos, so we need to wipe all of them out as well. So every chance we get, when we are in these slave colonies, we are wiping out the Bugmen, and we're also wiping out the Shek, just because Holy Nation, we do not like them. We have pulled Gnu across to take on the hooded noble guards. Peter is on his way as well, and Dexter will be heading down shortly just because Dexter has a sixth sense for wherever a fight's happening and piles in pretty quickly. But once these guys are out and we take that noble, that will be 2 more slave camps taken out, which is going to put us in a really good situation and the United Cities in a super bad one. And with how everything is going so far, I think that we will go after Heng in this episode. We will have time, it is close by, and that will be a nice big hit to the United Cities and also to the free traders as well. Not that we got much beef with the free traders, but details have Narkos in their ranks and Narkos need to be wiped out. Kind of the idea of this playthrough. So it is a Holy Nation playthrough and we are doing the High Lord Phoenix's work or Ogren's work, depending on how you want to put it. But yeah, we have gone through, we are checking all of the buildings, and so far there really doesn't seem to be that many people or that many holdouts, and as soon as we find them they fall pretty much straight away. All things considered, I think we are doing pretty well and we should be in a really good situation just to wipe out the United Cities. Doubt it will be in this episode, but maybe one more episode, and that will be the United Cities out, which means the Shek's out, means the Fotsam Ninjas is out, and then I think it is time to start moving on to the next series, and I have got some interesting plans for it. Don't want to give too much away, but I reckon it is going to be super good and quite interesting, and one of the parts of it is, it's not that it's an uncommon playthrough, it just doesn't happen all the time, and I'm going to put a little twist on it. It won't be a super long series, I reckon it'll be about 10 episodes, maybe 12 at the max. It's going to be pretty rapid fire, a lot of the filler content is going to be taken out, and it should be super action packed with a lot going on and a few different goals too. What most standard Kenshi playthroughs will be, so it's going to mix it up a little bit, which I think should be pretty interesting. Now what we got to do here is just wipe out the last of the noble guards. We have just taken down the noble, so that means the southern stone camp is now out of the way. We don't need to worry about that. Well, the noble's trying to crawl away. We'll just hit him a couple more times and then he'll be dead. And with this, we are going to carry on our way to Heng. We can hit Heng. Our guys are still in a really good shape. And with everything that has been taken out, that also means United Cities, their stats are going to be super low. They're going to be poorly equipped. They aren't going to be in a good situation to fend us off. And that is going to be a nice big blow against United Cities in one episode, which is going to put us in a super sweet situation. I think it is pretty fair to say that we do have Oakland on our side at the moment. That is 2 slave camps down in virtually no time at all, which is putting us in a super sweet situation. We are fresh, we are geared, we're still supplied, nobody's fallen behind, no one's taken any leg damage, and everyone seems to be in a rather good situation to carry on being fighting. So we're going to get a Heng, and we are going to wipe that out. Looks like the guards have spotted us before we could get set up, but that's not a problem. If they get drawn away from the town, they are going to be easier to take out, which means we're going to be fighting them piecemeal instead of all of them at once. But if you just look at their characters, they are super skinny at the moment, so we know that taking out the slave farms has worked pretty well. So they are starving, which means they're going to take a massive hit to their stats. And we can also see just in the town already there is a bunch of broken buildings, so I guess that is what happens when you take out the stone camps. So less buildings, less supplies, less armoured, less equipped, less trained. Yeah, the United Cities falls pretty quickly once you start hamstringing them as such, but then I guess that makes sense, because if you don't, they are super broken and a super powerful nation to take on. I think maybe now we could have taken them on at full strength, but when we started this off, there would have been absolutely no chance. I mean, we struggled against Bark, even after we'd caused quite a bit of damage. So, yeah, trying to take on someone like Shobutai or Heft would have been a very different story, and I don't think it would have turned out well for us. So the squad is now finally in the town. They just kept running back out that front gate time and time again. Not quite sure why. I guess they just saw something shiny to kill. But we're going to aggro all the free traders now, so those Garus are going to be packed full of like goodies, because food we're not running super low on, but having a little bit more is never going to hurt. So we're going to take this side of the town first. It seems to be less defended than the other side, and then once this area is done, we can move across and then finally take out Heng. With Heng out, all that will be left is Heft, and then we have wiped out all of the nations that we need to, and then we're going to swing back up by Shobutai, have a look around Shobutai, see what the Holy Nation has done with the place, or if the Holy Nation has just decided to stay put within Oakland's Valley, which wouldn't surprise me if they did, because once we took out the Shek, we talked to the High Lord Phoenix, and he said that they weren't going to go down and take the Shek territory. They were just going to send patrols down and make sure the Shek were never in a situation to rise back up. So this time around, I think that they're probably going to do the same thing with the United Cities, just put more patrols into the area and not actually take one of the cities. But if they do, that's going to kind of be cool. It'll be interesting to see how the world state changes and what will be happening. From what I've seen so far, it is pretty much just the Shek that expand, but it will be interesting to see what happens. And then once we know what happens, we can tailor it to later on. So we do have Dexter. He's gone and pretty much killed all of the Garus, which is really good. We are going to go around and loot them, and we're going to pick Dexter up so Dexter can go in and just nom on the face of that free trader, because I think it'd be a good show off. Dexter versus the free trader special character. And also there's just something quite funny about Dexter killing things and one-shotting special characters and NPCs. I just find it quite entertaining. Maybe a little bit twisted, but kind of funny nonetheless. Unfortunately, it looks like Dexter is too big to fit through the partition there, so maybe we can intercept him as he runs past and then just drop him. And it looks like he does have a Meitu longsword, which is kind of cool. It's not going to be as good as one of the other Meitu longswords that we have, because they're the hidden ones, and they have crazy good stats. And the rest of the squad has piled in as well, so yeah, that was not going to last long. Those free traders pretty much just got wiped out straight then and there when the squad went in. So we have moved on. We've got GNU covering the bridge crossing so everyone can get across without getting too many cheeky tags coming in. We don't want any cleaves or unnecessary damage. We've also sent Peter down. A little bit of pathfinding issue, but he is going to go down to that outpost in the back there, and with that we should have this side of the map secure, well, this side of the town, and that will be pretty sweet. That'll all be done, and then the rest of the squad is going to start to engage the other side, which should have a little bit more defense, but not expecting too much. Okay, and that is why Pete's not going anywhere, because he was stuck with Dexter. So It looks like Dexter and Peter will both be going into the outpost to ruin some people's days. And we might as well chuck GNU in, since there's GNU set. But this is where the proper fight is, on the other side of the town. And this looks like it is going to be quite a good scrap. We've got a lot of samurais kicking around, a bunch of conscripts, and they actually have some numbers. That means that we should be in a not a unadvantageous position, because one-on-one our guys are pretty much always going to win. But we can't really bring that many of our numbers to bear because they've got nearly the same amount. But thankfully a lot of them are stuck in the buildings. Where they're stuck in the buildings and not out on the street, because if they bring more of them into a fight against us, we generally will lose. But when they're fighting us piecemeal, or not fighting us as they are at the moment, we are going to start just carving through them super quick. And it is when we fight inside our guys become truly dangerous. If we can just get through that door, get in, and then start getting some attacks off. So we've already got the bridgehead set, and yeah, we're just going to watch those United Cities fall as if they were nothing. Just the secondary weapons our guys are running are absolutely devastating. So we got the hidden longswords, we got a bunch of like really good katanas, and they do not have the minus armor penetration, so they do full damage against things in armor. Well, considering, but without the minus multiplier, if that makes sense. So yeah, they are awesome bits of kit. And then yeah, everyone else is just piling around. Peter and GNU have got back into the fight. We'll put Dexter down so he can go off and do as much damage as he can. Not that he's really going to do too much because there is virtually nothing left. Then we also have GNU over in the second station. Looks like a little police station, and yeah, already gone upstairs and wiped everybody out. So that is looking like we are going to be able to move from here and head towards Emperor Tengu and then wipe him out. So this has gone a lot quicker than was planned. I thought that we would have struggled with the 2 slave mines or the slave camps, but that hasn't happened. I thought we would have struggled with taking out Heft. That hasn't happened. We've just stormed through it. So I think we're in a pretty good situation to then go take on the capital, take out Tengu, and then wipe out the United Cities once and for all. But that I'll leave for the next episode.